Hello, Node.js developers. Welcome to the React Native Developer Roadmap for 2025. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the roadmap that I've been working on for the past 5 years, and I believe that will help you to get from a beginner to a senior. So the roadmap to becoming a cracked mobile developer. And if you are born before 2000s, cracked in this context means something very good. So we're gonna take you step by step, all the way from a beginner to a junior to a mid developer, all the way to a senior. And I'm also going to cover a very special path in this journey that some people might find very interesting. And here I'm talking about indie development or independent developer, where as a single developer you can build and ship mobile applications all the way from zero to users. And here it involves a lot more skills compared to simply development. For every single step, I'm going to cover what you have to know at each level and what you should focus on improving to get to the next level, and some resources for each step of the way. I'm pretty sure that anyone, no matter at what level you're currently at, are going to find this video helpful. You're going to find some things that might be missing from your knowledge, even if you are a senior or a mid-level. You might find that, okay, there is some topics from the beginning, from the fundamentals, that I might go back and revise. So I'm pretty sure even if you're a beginner or intermediate, you're going to find something useful in today's video. And about me, my name is Vadim, and why I'm doing this video is because I've been working a lot in the coding space, and specifically around education. I started as a teacher assistant at Saxion University, and there I learned how slow is the traditional education, how outdated it is, and how slow it is moving. Like it was 5 years ago. Now with AI, I don't even imagine what's going on at university and what are they learning. Then I joined Amazon as a software engineer, and there I learned how big corporations are working. I learned a lot from other senior developers, and this is something amazing that you get by working at such large corporations, is that everyone on your team are like these crazy senior developers that know everything and that you can soak information from, you can learn and grow really, really fast. But I know that it's not the case for everyone. And I also have experience founding startups where I developed like a different mindset of moving fast, breaking things, trying different approaches, not focusing on fluff and not focusing on what's not important, and keeping everything that actually matters in mind, because that's what a startup needs. So by founding a couple of startups, I learned these fast iterations and learn how to think from the perspective of a user. Later, or 5 years ago, I founded Node.js development, and here I'm sharing and I'm teaching everything that I know about mobile development, about building projects to everyone who is in our community. On our YouTube, our educational content has reached more than 20 million developers. We have taught more than 1,200 students at Notjust Academy and helped over 100 developer founders to launch their first projects through our incubator, hackathons, or privately. So this roadmap is going to be from my personal experience, based on a proven curriculum that I've been building throughout our YouTube tutorials, throughout our courses. And it's also going to be no fluff. I really don't like fluff. I don't like things that don't matter. I only focus on what actually matters. So that's the plan for today. Make sure to stay tuned by the end of the video, because I'm also going to announce the winner, the lucky winner of the 2-day AI App Challenge that we yesterday finished. And that winner is going to win a spot in our summer bootcamp, the intensive bootcamp that is going to start on 16th of June. And for 8 weeks, this winner is going to join other 25 developers and is going to be coached by me and my team throughout 8 weeks until we reach a different level with React Native and building mobile applications. And with that being said, I think we can get started. Let's roll the intro. Hello, everyone who is joining us live. Thank you very much, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm going to stop at the end and cover some of them. Anyway, so let's get started, and we're going to start from level 1, the beginner. So who is this person? Usually, it's a person who just started programming. Maybe you're a student who just got into programming, or you are changing careers and are coming from a non-programming role, maybe from design, product, or other tech roles. And here the challenge is, and the focus is learning the fundamentals. There is another category of developers who are at this level, and these are nowadays called vibe coders, the developers that are using AI tools and by prompting they are building seemingly amazing applications. With this use case, it's a little bit tricky because it's really easy with AI tools to build seemingly amazing applications and things that in the past would not be possible. But the challenge with these developers is the lack of fundamental knowledge of programming, of how things are working, and this usually comes to bite them back whenever they have to adjust stuff and whenever they get into some nasty issues that a developer with some experience would take like 5 minutes to fix, but for them it looks very hard, and by prompting more, it overcomplicates the project. So if you're a beginner, if you're using vibe coding tools to build stuff, I don't discourage that. Go ahead and do that, but always make sure to come back to the basics and try to learn the fundamentals, because that is going to accelerate how fast you can build applications and how fast you can get unblocked whenever you hit some roadblocks related to some fundamentals. So at this level, focus on the programming fundamentals. Here I'm talking about basic things like what is a variable, what is an array, how to write conditional, and how to change the flow of our code execution with if-else statements, how to use loops, how to map and loop through different arrays, and also how to implement some simple algorithms, like as simple as finding the maximum value in an array, things like that. This is super crucial. So if you're just getting started, make sure you have a solid programming fundamentals. I've been at this level for probably 3 years. In my high school, I dedicated a lot of time to the programming fundamentals, and I was not building any kind of applications. I was just studying these algorithms. I went deep into the algorithm. I was participating in our country Olympiad of programming. So there it was hardcore algorithms, no UI, no user interface. It was just some crazy algorithms that we have to solve, that we have to implement. So I can say that it's a fun experience, and it helps you later down the road, 10 years from when you study these fundamentals, from you study these algorithms, is going to help you when building these user-facing applications. At this level, if your goal is to become a React Native developer, at this level, you have to learn the JavaScript syntax. So JavaScript, the language that we are using in React Native, learn the basic syntax, learn the error handling like try, catch, and so on, and also focus on the modern JavaScript features. This is something that we are in a way overusing in React and React Native development. There are some small features from JavaScript that we are really overusing, and when you're going to get into a team or a code base and you're going to see them all over the place, for a lot of developers, everything is obvious. But for a new developer, I know that when they see like a destructuring, a crazy spreading operation, or like some array methods like for each map, filter, and so on, they can become confused like what even everything means. especially when you combine that with more complexity from like React, like when we're mapping through an array and rendering a list of components, like how does that work? That's why I highly encourage you to master and focus on learning these modern JavaScript features like destructuring, spreading, arrow functions, array methods. This is very important because in most of the cases, you're not gonna use a for loop, and every for loop can be written with a for each, or a map, or a filter, or a find. There is very specific methods that are specifically designed for some use cases that are helping us write less code and achieve same solutions. So get used to them, try to understand them well. Promises and async await, this is another beast which initially might feel like obvious, but later it might give you some headache as well, especially like if you have to create a functions of your own and build your own promise and return it, resolve or reject it. Like these things, like even for a mid developer, can sometimes be confusing, and they have to go back to the documentation to just learn the syntax. So get used to them, try to understand how they work. Couple of tutorials here and there most probably are going to help you understand the concept and the syntax of how to use them. And here a little tip is don't be scared of the weirdness of JavaScript, because we as JavaScript developers, we all see like YouTube videos or TikToks or tweets about how weird JavaScript behaves in some kind of situations, in some kind of edge cases. And this might scare you as a beginner because you might think like, oh, it's so broken, or I need to know like how everything behaves. Or in a lot of cases, these content creators are creating these quizzes, like what is the output of this thing? And in most of the cases, even I don't know, because these are edge cases. Like you don't have to know everything, how it's going to work. And in a lot, like, because they are edge cases, like you're gonna run into them like very rarely, almost never, and just leave these problems for later when you actually encounter them. Yeah, knowing how things behave like is going to help you, but don't make this stop you from progressing. Like these are like the 0.1% of JavaScript, which if it would be important, it would have been fixed on the JavaScript layer, but it's so insignificant that it's not worth spending time focusing on this kind of JavaScript weirdness and learning it. It's just making good content, so that's why you see it everywhere. Content creators love to do that quizzes and that images or TikToks to show how weird JavaScript is, but that really doesn't matter. This is the fluff that I was talking about. All right, so that is the beginner. At this level, like if you're a beginner, you should be comfortable with programming fundamentals. You should be comfortable with the syntax of a language that you're going to work with. And if you're targeting React Native, that's going to be JavaScript. You should feel easy to write some kind of scripts, to do some kind of small algorithms, to work with promises, and so on. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the level 2, which is a junior React Native developer. So far, we didn't talk about React Native. We were talking more about the programming fundamentals because that's important before we get into React Native. That's kind of the only prerequisites that you need in order to build React Native application. Now, a React Native developer is either a beginner programming who starts right away with React Native, or is an experienced developer which is coming from a different field. For example, a very common scenario is a web developer that is moving to mobile, and especially like if you are a React developer experienced with React, it's common sense, like if you want to move to mobile, to switch to React Native, because you're going to bring a lot of knowledge from React to React Native, because a lot of things are shared. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. Another use case is a native mobile developer moving to React Native. I think this transition is a little bit more challenging because Because if you don't have experience with web or with React, moving to React Native for a native mobile developer is going to be initially a little bit more challenging, but eventually he's going to bring way more value to the team, because knowing React Native and coming from native mobile development, you're going to know how platforms work, how Android, how iOS works. You're gonna be able to drop down to the platform specific code and implement some crazy stuff that people who are coming from web are not going to manage. So there are pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses for anyone, and it's a matter of just working towards it and continue improving and growing and filling in the gaps that you have and leveraging the powers that you bring to the table, such as experience with native mobile or experience with web and so on. A beginner programming who starts with React Native is going to require like more time to get used to everything, because you're going to learn both the React fundamentals, the React Native stuff, the mobile stuff, and so on. So first, what you need to get good at, and here is a category called React Fundamentals. Building React Native applications, we are using React. So that's why there is a lot of topics that are coming from React and are the same topics used with React DOM when building web applications. And here I'm talking about things like JSX, how to use JSX, how to build your own components, how to structure everything, how to implement data management with state, props, context API, how to use hooks, simple hooks like state, use effect, use ref. These are the most used hooks, and you should be familiar and it should be easy for you to use them. Also, you should already start understanding the component lifecycle. You should understand how does a component behave? When does it re-render? What is a re-render and why it happens, and what side effects it can have on your component and on your performance. Maybe you're not gonna understand fully how performance issues are working at this level because you're still junior, but you should understand the behind the scenes of how components behave or their life cycle. After you master these React fundamentals, there are React Native specific stuff that you're not gonna find on web, for example, if you're coming from React. So if you're coming from web, you might have strong React fundamentals, but you still have to adapt some of the things specific to React Native. Here I'm talking about the built-in native views like text view, image flatlay, scroll view, and so on, text inputs, forms, buttons, pressables, all of these native views that we are using in React Native. You need to be good at knowing how to style your applications and build amazing and beautiful UIs using JavaScript objects. This is different from web. On web we have CSS. On mobile we are using JavaScript objects, which look quite similar to CSS properties, but they are a little bit different. How to use platform APIs like a camera, a file system, permissions API, and all the other APIs that a platform provides. And these APIs are important because that's what makes a mobile application powerful, and that's one of the reasons why you might want to build a mobile application compared to a website. You might need some very specific platform APIs for the use case. You might also be familiar with different mobile navigation patterns. Navigation on mobile applications is quite different from the web. On mobile, we have very specific navigation patterns, like a stack navigator, like bottom tabs, a drawer that comes from the side, a top tabs navigation, and so on. So you need to be familiar with them and need to know how to use them properly to provide a native-like experience. So this is the junior level, and at this level, as a junior developer, you should be familiar, where you should be comfortable with jumping into existing projects, fixing some bugs, navigating the code system, understanding how things are connecting together, fixing bugs, implementing additional features, maybe messing around with navigation as well, like depending on the project side, of course. And on your side, I think if you take a small project that doesn't have a lot of complexity, you should be able to start it from scratch and build it. Like we have a lot of these tutorials on our channel, so if you're interested, go ahead on our channel, open the live tab. We have a lot of beginner-friendly tutorials. Now, moving on to the next phase, the mid-level. Here, it's a bunch of improvements, like you're growing, you're improving what you already know and what you already use, and you are adding like new stuff. For the new stuff, like maybe you're adding animation skills, you're getting into building and implementing simple animations here and there. You get better at debugging and fixing performance issues. You understand like what are performance drawbacks, why something is slow, why something is fast, how to fix some of these things, how to avoid them in future, so you're writing already better code from the beginning. You get into some more advanced platform-specific APIs like push notifications, background jobs, maybe even platform specifics like an activity, a view, or things like that. You get into global state management. You feel comfortable with working at the global state, with structuring different stores in a performant way that for data that is going to be used in the whole application without impacting the performance of application. If so far you've been focused on JavaScript, maybe you've used some of the TypeScript, now is the time to probably get really good at TypeScript and know what you're doing with it, because TypeScript is quite important. Most of the projects out there are using it for a good reason, because it's going to help you avoid unnecessary bugs in future. It's going to make it JavaScript more structured in a way, like what you expect is the things that you get, and TypeScript is the one that is going to fix those nasty JavaScript weirdnesses that I was talking earlier in the video. You're also going to get into testing, unit testing your components, or integration testing, or even end-to-end testing. You might, this is not a requirement, but for some cases you might want to get into an experience building for different platforms. For example, with React Native, you can also build for TV applications, or you can build desktop application for macOS or Windows using the React Native macOS. So yeah, there is a lot of different possibilities that you can explore here. And it's also important that at this level, you're going to know more about how the building process works before the application gets into production. You're going to familiarize and learn how to build for different environments like testing, staging, development, production, how signing works, how you get the application on the market, and so on. So this is the mid-level, like you're improving and adding a lot of this stuff. At the phase 4, we are getting into the advanced stuff, and this is where a senior developer is feeling comfortable with taking a project from zero and architecting it from the ground up until production and until it handles a huge load of millions of users. A senior developer will feel more comfortable with dropping to the native layer whenever complexities arise and whenever they hit roadblocks with the current possibilities of React Native. So for very specific edge cases where performance matters, like they are going to be the one who are going to drop to the native layer, build some native plugins, native views that is going to improve the overall performance of application. They are going to be the ones who are going to spot challenging performance issues and will come up with creative solutions on how to fix them when the other ones on the team will not be able to. We will know how to set up automated CI/CD pipelines for build, test, submit, to automate the whole process of getting the speed of development in the team by automating a lot of this stuff. In some cases, we are good at migrating native applications to React Native. So there is a lot of native apps out there that understand that they would benefit from using React Native. So they cannot rebuild everything. They just want to slowly migrate to React Native. These usually are called brownfield applications, and it involves like moving to React Native like screen by screen. So yeah, that is the senior part. Now, moving on to the next one. The next one is the phase where I don't even know it's a phase because it's not coming after, like you don't have to be a senior to get here, but it's a path that is very close to my heart. It's the indie developer. And the indie means independent, and it's a developer who can work alone and build end-to-end applications, all the way from starting it, from thinking about the concept, building it, shipping it, marketing it, and making a living out of that. And this thing about like indie development is that you are going to wear a lot of hats. Like you are the developer, the marketer, the tester, the front end, the back end, everything. Like you are that. So here, in terms of the skills that you're going to need backend skills as well, because in a lot of cases, like a mobile application needs a backend. Yeah, there are local only applications, but they are limited. Like you would need a backend to store data somewhere on a server. So in this case, and for an indie developer, solutions like Supabase, which is backend as a service, are very handy because we are coming in with a lot of pre-built stuff, and it's much faster to build and deploy applications there. And an indie developer, what he needs is speed and the ease of use, because just one person needs to do a lot of things and needs to do them fast. And indie developer, and I think like everyone nowadays, should become good at AI-powered development, should become good at using AI to accelerate their workflow, no matter like at what level you are. This is an incredible skills to master and get good at. An indie developer should have a scrappy mindset because they need to build something functional before it's perfect. So in a lot of cases, he might do some shortcuts that would impact maybe performance or scalability just for the sake of getting something out on the market as fast as possible. I really love this mindset. Like I don't like working or perfecting something too much until I see that it has a potential. So yeah, this is a great like startup mindset that I even saw in a lot of big companies being used well, depending on the different projects. From then non-development skills, like you should be good at marketing, at ASO, at copywriting for your application and for your marketing, like to write the text. Should be good at product. You need to know how to build a product, how to prioritize features, how to work in iterations. You need to be good at UI UX, and you have to have some business knowledge, or at least to know what users or what use cases are going to have a potential to generate you revenue. Okay, so these were the 4 phases. I see a lot of you here in the comments. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Now I want to talk a little bit about the impact of AI, because we cannot talk about development without talking about AI nowadays, because our jobs have been impacted so much in the last years, and it's completely different place today compared to where developers, or how a developer normal day was looking like maybe 3 or 5 years ago. The thing is that AI is accelerating and improving and disrupting a lot of industries, and it's here to stay, and we need to get good with AI. Will AI replace developers? Well, I don't think so. Like, as a similar way, like if we look at things, like if we think when spreadsheets were invented, did they replace finance people? No, it simply was a tool for them to do their job faster and better and with less resources. I think that's the same case here. AI is not going to replace developers. AI is going to make them more efficient. It's going to make them faster. And by being more efficient and faster, yes, it's like some big companies are going to need way less developers. Some big companies, like a project that needed like 100 developers 5 years ago might be done by 20 good developers that are using AI correctly. And will the other 80 developers remain without a job? Well, I don't know. That's not for me to decide. That's for the market to decide. But having these skills, being able to build stuff, I think this is going to be a wake-up call for a lot of developers to start building their own projects, to become better, to learn all of this stuff, and to be among the top 1% that is going to become faster, more efficient, and better at the work that they are doing. So make sure to use AI in your workflow, see what you can automate, use it strategically, use it for copywriting, for ideation, planning of your project, use it to speed up your repetitive tasks, like if you're even implementing basic functionalities of UI. Nowadays, AI can help you with that. And as long as you know the fundamentals, as long as you know what you're doing, AI, you can be the one architecting everything, and the AI will be the implementing stuff. So you have to really get fast from beginner to a senior to know how things are working, how you can architect stuff, and you can be the architect, and the AI can be the one who is writing the code, and you will review everything, and you will make sure to put it back on the track, like whenever it goes sideways, because it goes sideways quite often. So yeah, this is the new reality, and get used to it. Otherwise, you might be left behind. How do I think it's best to learn stuff? I'm going to say this from my personal experience, and the way I learned most of the things that I know is by building shit, by building lots and lots of shit. Build projects, because that's the best way you can learn and apply stuff. Like, these programming concepts, they are so abstract that reading them, you might think like, okay, I kind of understand. But then when you have to apply them in practice, like you are like stuck, you look at an empty page and you're like, what should I do here? So the learning process happens by actually getting stuff done. And when you're building things, like, you are going to encounter issues. And through issues, it's how you learn. You find an issue, then you try to solve it. You understand, like, oh, that's why it was not working. And that's when it clicks. That's a learning moment. And you need to collect these kind of aha moments throughout your career. And by doing that, you build like the whole mental map of how everything works, and how to build these amazing projects. Nowadays, there is a lot of information. There is an abundance of information. There is a lot of free tutorials. We have it on our channel. Go ahead, watch them. Like, there are so many developers that watched our tutorials on YouTube, and they managed to build some applications. But I know that information is not enough. And while a lot of developers are good at self-learning, are good at motivating themselves to finish what they start, to navigate this path, what I realized is that information is not enough. What you need is actually guidance and accountability, because there is so much information nowadays. In a lot of cases, you feel lost, you feel overwhelmed. Like, I need to know so many things. I need to know that and that and this. What's better? What library should I learn? Like, is this still relevant or is not longer relevant? Like, am I reading something up to date or not? So what you need is, you need guidance. You need someone who can guide you through this path of, this is what you need to know and this is what you should not care at this moment. Just focus here and you're going to get better. You're going to get to the next step. And you need accountability to make sure that someone is holding you accountable to achieve what you're starting, to follow up with the projects, to follow up with learnings that you are doing. That's why, for that reason, drum rolls please, we are launching something that we, for the first time, that we have never done before, and this is our summer bootcamp. We're launching this summer bootcamp, which is going to be an intensive online bootcamp for 8 weeks, where we're going to take 25 developers and we're going to coach them personally by me and by my team. So 8 weeks of intensive React Native learning starting from 16th of June and only limited to 25 developers, because we want to give more personalized experience there in the bootcamp to make sure that we keep everyone accountable. We are available to answer questions, to get unblocked when people hit roadblocks. So to give you a better understanding what a week during the bootcamp will look like, for example, I'm going to explain how week 5 of a bootcamp looks like. So basically on Monday, you're going to get access to a new module. And this is the lessons, the same curriculum, the same lessons that we've built for React Native Mastery. For example, on week 5, on Monday, you get access to 12 lessons that are going to be focused on local architecture. So you're going to build a fitness tracker and learn about local data management, local architecture, about SQL, about local databases, and so on. Then you're going to, from Tuesday to Wednesday, you're going to study the materials yourself. You're going to build the fitness tracker. And then Thursday, you're going to join a live workshop. For example, a workshop might be on advanced local first patterns on performance optimization. We don't have a final title for the workshop, but we're working on that. So during these workshops, like me or Lucas are going to prepare a very specific topic for that week and are going to go more in depth to help you with mastering maybe some more advanced things about the topics of a week. These workshops are going to be, you're only going to have access through the bootcamp. These are not available anywhere, and they're going to be hosted on a Zoom call live with a presentation, with a Q&A, so that we can really nail the concept of a week. Then on Friday and Saturday, there is going to be a workshop assignment, and you are going to work on that alone. You're going to build a local first habit tracker. Again, we are talking about week 5. On Sunday, you're going to submit your solution and you're going to get a code review from our team. We're going to point out like what are the missing parts, where you can improve, and we're going to see how you are progressing. This way, keeping everyone accountable. And the following Monday, we join a group coaching call with me, and which is going to be like a Q&A session on the week's concepts and on your implementation. That's where you can ask questions. We can help you get unlocked and move forward. So the enrollment for the bootcamp closes on 15th of June. This is 1 week from now. And the official launch, like this is not the official launch. This is what you see here is just a teasing because the official launch is on 10th of June. It's going to be next week. However, we have some early bird discounts for you. If you're interested, if you're watching this live, we have around 50 people watching this live. You have opportunity to jump into this with early bird discount. So use the SB25 code for 25% off. There are 4 out of 5 coupons still available. And if they run out, just use the SB20 for 20% off. So I believe that in the following days, these coupons are going to go very fast. So if you're interested, use them now, not to miss them. So if you want to learn more about the bootcamp, you can go to notjust.dev/bootcamp. And remember, there are only 25 spots available, only 25 students, and actually it's 23 because we have already, I just checked before starting the live stream, we already have 2 people, I don't know where they're heard about this, maybe during the challenge, that they already enrolled. So if you're interested, make sure to enroll now at notjust.dev/bootcamp. Perfect. And in a second, we're going to find the lucky winner that is going to win a spot in our bootcamp. And that lucky winner was someone who signed up for the AI challenge. Let's do that now, and then we're going to get into some questions and answers. So if you have some questions about today's topic, make sure to drop them in the chat. And for now, what I'm going to do is we're going to randomly select one winner that signed up for the 2-day AI app challenge. We have here the list of people with their emails, hopefully hidden, that signed up, and we have 97 people. So let's go ahead in random.org, and we are going to, do from 2 all the way to 97. So from 2 all the way to 97. Let's go ahead and generate a number. Drum rolls, please. Generate, and the number is 5. The number is 5, and the 5th person is Saura. I'm not going to reveal your email, but we're going to send you an email. Saura from India. Congratulations on winning 1 spot out of 25 inside the summer bootcamp. Perfect, and that's done. Amazing. Congratulations for winning that. Where is it? Here it is. And now it's time for a short Q&A if you guys have any questions. Just Smile is asking, for an indie mobile developer that care only about iOS, is it better to go for Swift or React Native? I don't have much experience with Swift, but I see the benefit of going React Native if you target only iOS. That's what's probably where I am with my personal projects. Just because I'm an indie developer, I don't have time to support both iOS and Android, and I took a decision, okay, for now I'm only going to target iOS, and if some of these applications get to a level where they grow to a level where I'm happy with, then I'm going to easily adopt them and launch them on Android as well. So with React Native, I'm not closing any gates on Android. I'm just saying, like, for now, this is going to be only iOS, and later I'm going to go there. And there are other things that are also better in React Native and Swift, like in terms of development experience, code reloading, and so on. Hi, I hit some advanced level with React Native and wondering if moving to Swift UI is a natural step or there is no need for it. It really depends on the needs of the project that you're building. Yeah, like moving down to the native side, like in a lot of projects, is beneficial, but you can also move in other directions as well. Maybe you can improve your animation skills. Maybe you can improve some other aspects. So that's not the only thing that you can improve, like Swift UI. It's a thing that you can improve, and it's going to make you better. John is saying, I just wanted to let you know that your video about React Native in-app purchases really helped me. I managed to implement in-app. Thanks you. Thank you. That's amazing. Appreciate it. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, I'll be on Discord. Join us if you want to join our Discord channel. It's at notjust.dev/Discord, and we can continue our conversation there. We have a lot of things prepare for the next week with the launch of the summer bootcamp. So I'm going to go back, rest a bit, and then get back to preparation of the next one. As you can see, we are hard on content. We've been working on this summer bootcamp for the last months. Everyone is super excited, and I cannot wait to start working with you. Starting with the first meeting we're gonna have on 16th of June. So it's 1 week away from now. If you are interested in the summer bootcamp, if you want to be coached by me and my team on getting better with React Native, by building amazing mobile applications, by being held accountable, and by learning in a closed environment with other 25 developers, go to notjust.dev/bootcamp, enroll now because we have early bird discounts, and I'll see you there. Thank you very much for joining today's session. I hope you enjoy. I hope you found it valuable, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.